Thank you. Cheers. Well, thank you for the warm welcome. That's all I've got ever since I've been here, so it's great. I'll be coming back again for sure, but maybe in the summer. So yeah, thank you for having me. Like I say, my name's Mark Hawkins. I help people create freedom through the power of emotional acceptance, which is what I'm going to be sharing with you today, what that means. And I got introduced or invited to do this talk by Kelly because she had seen that what I do online. Kelly's the lady who organised this event, in case you're wondering who Kelly is. And she invited me through, we were connected on Facebook, and she saw that I was sharing a message and what I was doing. And so she invited me to do this talk, and I was like a little bit kind of, it was weird because I was kind of putting out I'd had nudges to say to me, to do more talking, do more speaking, and I kind of was ignoring it. And so I'm really grateful that Kelly did reach out to me, because it kind of pushed me into like actually doing a talk for people. So this is my actual first talk. So throw myself in the deep end here a bit. So be gentle, but I can see that you will be. There's lots of smiles, which is nice. So yeah, I'm from Exeter, which is in the southwest of England, and I live there with my wife and our daughter, our 6-year-old daughter. And so yeah, my first talk. So I'm feeling a little nervous, a little bit of dry mouth. I'll be honest, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah. That helped me a lot beforehand. Yeah, so thanks for that. So, I mean, I don't want to assume, but I'll just ask a few questions to start off with, really, and that is, like, who here has experienced some kind of depression or sadness? Okay. And who here has experienced some kind of stress or overwhelm? Okay. And who here has experienced some kind of anxiety or fear? Okay, right. So we're in the right room. Like, I didn't want to assume. And the beautiful thing about all of this is that, we are. Dave mentioned it. It creates empathy when we can understand and appreciate that we're all human and we all do experience these more negative emotions. And I do that in quotes because, it is a perspective. And through that empathy, we can create connection between us. That's a big human need for all of us, is to have connection. And so I think a lot of you some of you have come here in pairs, so you know each other, but what would be really good is just to turn to one another, or whichever way you want to do it, just to acknowledge each other, that because we all put our hand in the air, including myself, we've experienced these things, just to acknowledge, so some kind of eye contact or a smile for each other, or even if you want to give each other a hug or a handshake. Amazing, great. So that just creates that. I'm really feeling the love and the connection in the room right now. So that's great. So I'm going to share with you now. Thank you. Bit parched. So who would like to learn how to be? I mean, we're all sharing with you here, all the speakers, amazing speakers, going to be sharing this with you, but who would like to learn how to be free from these kind of negative emotions that you experience? Yeah, of course. Right, okay. So I'm going to share with you how I went from experiencing really acute social anxiety and depression to now running my own coaching business, being a trainer with 15 other practitioners of the work that we do and counting, and speaking up here, speaking in front of you now. So I'm going to take you on a journey. So I might as well start from the very beginning, and I want you to kind of play with the idea that we're born into this world with limitless possibilities. Like, possibilities are limitless, and we, when we're born, are enough. Like, we are like complete, whole enough as we are. And it's as we grow up through life that we start to learn differently. We start to, other influences in our life start to create a perspective and a belief about the world, and a perspective and a belief about ourselves. And so things start to happen in terms of, we're being ourselves. We're just being this farty baby that goes around and poos and unhappy and spews everywhere, laughs, cries, feels everything and expresses everything. And so we are that. And then these influences happen in our life where maybe we are ourselves, we express ourselves, and we get knocked back in some way. Like, who here's been knocked back in their life? Yeah. So, and when I say knocked back, we could have been rejected, or we could have been criticized or ridiculed. Maybe where we've really needed someone and we've been felt abandoned, when they haven't been there. And so these things, when they happen, they create a belief. We create a belief about ourselves. Or, okay, perhaps it's not safe to be me, or it's not okay to be me. To express myself, to do what I want, to ask for what I want. And so the earliest time that I can remember of this happening for me was when I was at school. I was 7 years old and I was at school and I was playing a sport that I absolutely loved. It's a sport called shinty. Now, I'd be amazed if anyone knows what shinty is. No? Okay. So basically, it's a game with a ball that's smaller, bigger than a tennis ball, smaller than a football, and it's played with an upside-down walking stick. Okay, people are looking at me like, thinking, "What on earth is that?" It's a bit like hockey, that kind of game. Okay, and I absolutely loved playing this game, and I was really good at it as well. And there was this one time where I was celebrating a goal that I scored, really enthusiastic about it, and the teacher at the time called me over and said to me, "Can you stop being so enthusiastic?" And to some people that might not seem a very kind of impactful thing. I mean, there's quite possibly people in this room who've experienced far more kind of trauma in their life. But for me, like that moment, that I took on a belief that it's not okay to be me. It's not okay for me to express joy and excitement. And so that made me feel small, made me feel like, just small. And so it came with it a belief, and it came with it an emotion, in that I was in a heightened state of emotion where I was being very joyful and excitement, and then for that to happen, I felt quite small. So it was a very strong imprint in my life. And of course, this thing also created a fear. Like, it created a fear of me expressing myself, of expressing my excitement and my joy, and scared of if I'm going to be happy in the future, then I'm not allowed to be happy, because if I am, then this might happen again. So this continued to kind of, at the time, you know, I was 7 years old, so, you know, I experienced it, and it was like, and then it kind of passes. But what I've found, knowing what I know now that I didn't know at the time, is this continued to manifest. So continued to manifest in a way that, you know, I started to lack a lot of confidence in myself. And this then led to, you know, seeking ways in order for me to feel good, right? Because I didn't feel good on the inside. I felt like I felt unconfident, and I felt small and inferior and all these kinds of things. And so alcohol became my thing. Like, I didn't become an alcoholic, but alcohol was the thing that gave me that short-term fix of me feeling, giving me that kind of false confidence, if you like. And so, you know, this is when, so I used to spend a lot of time out with my friends, and, you know, and we go out drinking quite a lot. And there was a time where, in my teenage years, the early 20s, where we went on a lad's holiday together. And during this time, there was one night where they all went out, and I just really didn't feel like going out. And I just wasn't feeling it for whatever reason. And so they all went out, and I stayed back in the hotel room. And all I remember is I was in that room, and I just lay on the bed, and it was like I started falling. I didn't really know what was happening. It was like I was falling into this deep, dark hole, like never-ending hole. And there was voices screaming in my head. And I just really didn't know what was happening. It just felt like it was going on forever and ever. And I don't remember much more after that of that holiday. And I don't remember much more for a few months after that. It was only through speaking with my sister that she said, you know, kind of we lost Mark for a while. Like, he was depressed, you were depressed, I was depressed, and like anxious, and just didn't go out, and all this kind of stuff. And so that was a kind of a period of my life where I kind of lost sense of myself for that period of time. So I don't remember a lot about that. However, I must have come through it because I'm here now. And then the next kind of a profound moment is where things started to shift for me. And it was one of the catalysts for the change and the transformation to where I am now. And that was that we were on holiday, and my then girlfriend, now wife, took a video of me in the sea, paddling in the sea. And we were looking at the photo. We came back from the holiday, and we were looking through the photos, as you do, and I came across the video. And this was a moment where I just saw myself. Like, I could see the person that I felt on the inside. So, kind of skinny, weak, no confidence. And this was a big, like, eye-opening moment for me, is to see myself like that. And this is what made me then, in that moment, just decide to do something about it. And so that's when I went on a health and fitness journey. I just decided to go to the gym. And I was self-taught for about 3 years. I had some help with an instructor. And after about 3 years, I was skinny, but I was carrying skinny fat. I hadn't eaten very well and very healthily prior to that either. And so I managed to strip some of that and gain some muscle and feel a lot fitter and a lot stronger in myself than I ever had done before. And this helped go a long way to helping me with the social anxiety, but it hadn't got rid of it altogether. But I felt so good that I just wanted to give back and help others. So then that's when I became a personal trainer. And I was doing that alongside my full-time job at the time, which was a 9-to-5 job. And in this 9-to-5 job, it was soul-sucking, essentially. You know, I had this social anxiety, and I was in an office environment, and you see the same people every day. And at the same time, the question that just kept coming back and back again for me was there's got to be more to this. There's got to be more to life than this. There's got to be more to life than this. And so this is what got me seeking, you know, I'd gone through the personal training, and, you know, I was doing personal training, and I was liking the fact that people were gaining confidence. However, I felt like I was there just someone counting reps, you know, just holding them accountable while they were there. Reps being repetitions, you know, one kind of one bench press, 2, 3. So I didn't really enjoy that. But because I'd liked the fact that I was helping people create confidence for themselves and feel better in themselves, I figured there must be another way. So this is when my eyes were opened to this online world of there were so many other coaches out there that were helping people, and this really then kind of sparked my kind of interest. Like, I thought, well, I'm really here. I want to help people, and so I actually started joining Facebook groups and could see that there was things going on, lots of different coaches, and there was an offer that was put out by a coach. So I put myself forward for it, and he became my coach for a little while, and I learnt some useful tools to do with NLP, and that helped me, and I was able to then start helping other people. So I actually had a tool that I could help people with. And so I started doing that for a while alongside my full-time job. And then an opportunity arose. And this opportunity was to leave the full-time job and take voluntary redundancy from it. And it was a big risk to do it, because I had a house, a family, wife, daughter. However, I got the trust from my wife, thankfully, and decided to just go for it. And so I did. And I had a mastermind lined up as well. And it was in the summer. So I was going off to Cyprus on this mastermind for a few days. And it was all about creating freedom, a freedom-based business online. So I was like, this is it. I've got this opportunity. I'm going to go to this, and this is going to solve all my problems. And I'm going to create this amazing business from this one event. No, that didn't happen. It was nice to spend some time in the sun and to learn a load of information. But then when I got back, I had all this free time on my hands. So I'd been used to being in this full-time job where I go to a job and I'll get an income and do these things. But then I had all this free time on my hands and didn't know what the hell to do with it. In fact, I felt more overwhelmed because now I had loads more information. And so over a period of time, this pattern started happening again. I found myself kind of losing a sense of myself and wondering if I was good enough, and wondering, have I been wrong? What am I doing? And am I here to help people? How on earth am I going to help people? How am I going to get clients to help them? And started really just losing a sense of, or maybe as a perspective, you could say, finding myself. And it was in that moment, and I don't know if you've heard of the saying, but when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And that quite literally happened. I had a coach and mentor reach out to me at that time, and he made an offering to me. We have a get on a call with him, and it went well, and I joined his program. And went through that. It was called the activation method, and I learned some things about how to feel more empowered within myself. And went into the woods, and they had me going into the woods and shouting out like I am statements in the woods and all this kind of stuff. And it did feel pretty good in the moment. And to be fair, and I did notice a shift in my physiology and the way that I felt. And I continued with them, and then we went on he also did a retreat. So it was a retreat in a house in Wales, and this program is called The Powerful Man, by the way. And so I went through it, and we went to this retreat, and it was just men. So it's just us men there. And there was a group of like 6 men. No, there was 8 of us, I think, 8 men. And so it was nice for like men to get together and create a safe space for us to just eat together and go for walks together and talk together. But more than that, we also did some practices while we were there. And one of those practices was to get naked in front of each other and to really just be in front of each other like that, to be seen, and to look at each man in the eye, and you could just see the fear in each other's eyes. I quite literally see the fear of it, because we're not used to that. We haven't been taught to do that. Anyway, so we did that, and then we did what was called a rage release. So we went through a meditation where we went through a rage release, and this was essentially where we went through a meditation which triggered a part of us, and then we had a mattress on the floor in a room. No, so there was 6 of us in this room, a mattress, and we took it in turns to essentially tap into a part of us. So we were like swinging our arms forward and backward on this mattress, and just going harder and harder at it until we just released all this emotion from us. Like really just blurted it out. Like we didn't even know what we were saying. We didn't even know where it was coming from. That's just how it just came out. And there were tears, and there was stuff that we were saying that we were like, what on earth are we talking about? But it was being released all in that moment. And it was one of the most liberating experiences I've experienced, and just felt extremely light as a result of that. And so this was a real introduction to the work that I do now, which I'll share a little bit more about. But so we did that, and then on the final day, there was another empowerment day where we went through another meditation, and we tapped into our higher self, or our true self, whichever way you want to put it, our powerful self. And then we had to strip off again, not again, and then just really belt out these I am statements to truly be seen and heard, because I feel like that's ultimately what most of us, if not all of us, really want, is to be seen and heard. And so this is what happened. And I stood there just belting out like 4 or 5 I am statements. I was shaking. And we turned around, and there was a mirror, and we had to look in the mirror and just accept ourselves, just look at ourselves and look in our own eyes and just be with ourselves. Something that we don't do in our everyday lives. But again, that was very kind of scary, but it was to really like face yourself, but liberating at the same time. And then we turn around again and look at each man in the eye to acknowledge that what we'd done. So this was a real catalyst and an introduction for me to into this type of work. And so I continued with this coaching, but there was I continued with it, but still felt like, to me, I'd done a lot of release, but it felt like it wasn't enough. Like there was something missing. It just wasn't right. It wasn't consistent enough or something. So anyway, I continued with my coaching. I was coaching full time at this point, and then I was running a 5-day challenge. And this 5-day challenge was to help other coaches to share their story in a way to inspire other people. And on that, there was a guy, and this guy's called Vineet Bhatia, and he invited me to a gift session of emotional acceptance. And so I had this session. And my intention really was to, for him to potentially become a client of mine. But he said to me, no, have this session, because he really, truly believed in this. That really showed me that he really believed in this work. And I was open to it. So I did. And I went on this session. And it blew my mind. And it was from that very moment where I knew that this is my purpose, this is what I'm here to do. And so that was a year ago. It was just a year ago. And it was like everything clicked and came into place in that moment. Because of the way that I am, my values, what I believed in, and how I could see that this is a transformational process. And so I've been on a roller coaster journey up until that point. So I've let a lot more go during this past year. And also I've become now the head trainer within our company, because we've created a company out of this. And we have now 15 practitioners of the work, and it's growing. And so I coach others and train the practitioners with emotional acceptance. And it's helped me profoundly. This was the piece that is more consistent. And so I want to share with you, like, why it was so powerful and why it works so well. So what I said before, like at 7 years old, I had that experience. I've had that experience. Everything that I've shared with you up until this point created a belief about myself and about the world, and I held an emotion that was attached to those things, and also an emotion connected to the fears of those things. And the reason why the social anxiety manifested and all of that stuff, and the experience that I had on my holiday, was that what I know now is that I was carrying all of that subconsciously. So I wasn't aware of it. I at the time, like, I knew I was scared of like social events and scared of actually speaking with people, because I was scared of expressing myself and all that kind of stuff. I knew that I was scared of those situations, of being in those situations, but I didn't really know why. I thought that was like normal. That was the way I was supposed to be. But what I've learned now is that because of those experiences, I was still carrying that past with me. I was still literally carrying the emotion and the beliefs with me subconsciously that I wasn't aware of. And what I've become aware of now is that ultimately I wasn't scared of the situations, and I wasn't scared of the people. I wasn't scared of speaking with people. I was scared of the way I felt about it, and I wasn't honest with myself about the way I truly felt. And so what emotional acceptance does is helps us to do just that. It is a process, so it's helped me to just accept and be honest about the way I felt, like all of it. Honest that I felt that I was scared. Honest that just truly honest about the way I felt. So what emotional acceptance does is, it is a process. It's kind of a 3-step process, and it helps us to explore. It's a kind of meditation, however, a very profound one, and it helps us to explore what we're actually feeling in the body, the emotion. So emotion, we are not emotion, but we experience emotion. And emotion being, if you expanded the word, just energy in motion. That's literally all it is, that we're experiencing all the time. And like I say, we're just not aware of it all the time. And we're not aware of our thoughts a lot of the time. You were saying that just 5% of our thought, we're only consciously aware of 5% of our thoughts, but 95% of stuff is going on subconsciously that we're not aware of. And so by accepting and being aware of what we're actually feeling in the moment, it helps us to just experience that, just experience what we're feeling. And as we do that, we notice that when we're present with that feeling, like the breath work that we were doing earlier, that's essentially presence. We're being present with something that we're not present with a lot of the time. And so when you're present with the feelings and the emotions, essentially we're loving ourselves. We're being that enoughness, that completeness, that love that we were when we were born. We're being that presence for ourselves. And as we're with ourselves and with the emotions that we experience, we notice that they just start to dissolve. They start to evaporate. And they also carry with them, they just start to dissolve. And so when we think about the thing that is causing that feeling, or like the fear that we're having, we notice that the emotions just don't affect us so much anymore. We think about that thing and the emotion is no longer there. So that helps us to be just more peaceful within ourselves and what I've found is much more peaceful within myself and being able to trust myself more, because I'm being honest with myself about the way I feel. And when we're honest with ourselves and just let ourselves feel, we notice that the feelings aren't that scary as we thought they were, and they just start to dissolve. And the more consistent that we do this, the less that we experience the negative or the scary emotions. And we just start to have more confidence and trust in ourselves, because we're being honest with ourselves about the way we feel. And so, and on the other side of this, when we've experienced this emotion and it clears from our system, we also let go of the belief, the subconscious belief that's been being experienced. And on the other side of this, we just start to feel lighter and start to feel the more feel-good emotions. So it's not that we have to try and make ourselves feel good. It's that by just letting go, it means that we naturally would start to feel good anyway, which is our natural state. Our natural state is joy and excitement and love. So when we can allow ourselves to let go of all the negative that we've been trained, or all the influences in our life that have caused us to have these beliefs and feel these emotions and have these fears, when we can just be present with all of that, we can start to let it all go, and we just come back to the state of feeling good or light within ourselves. And then we just let ourselves feel the good, feel the good and the light, because we're all worthy and deserving to feel good and happy and joyful within ourselves. But it's not that we have to try and make ourselves. There's nothing we don't have to, like I did, go to the alcohol to try and make us feel confident for a short period of time, only for us to not feel good again after that. So we don't have to try and make ourselves feel good. We can just let ourselves feel what we feel, and then we will just feel good. And then as we're with ourselves, a new belief will come about. You will know from your own experiences of when you have felt good, that when you do genuinely feel good within yourself, you start to see new possibilities open up. That a world becomes a brighter place. Things just start to come easily and more naturally. We start to take action on things more easily. And so the more that we can do this, the more that we then open ourselves up to intuition. So intuition being like a gut feeling. Like we all have that inner voice or that inner knowing of these nudges, this inner intuition that points us towards what it is that we want to do. It points us into, I'm really good at that. I really enjoy that. I really could create a business out of that. Or I could really put myself forward for that position in my job or whatever. And we have those nudges, right? There's a lot of nods going on. We have those nudges, but we don't act upon them. Why don't we act upon them? Because we have doubt, we have fear, we have all these beliefs that we're experiencing. And then when we think about those things, we start to feel those emotions. And so by letting go of the emotions, it means that we're more likely to, we will be in that state of hearing the intuition, hearing the inner voice of what wants to happen, what our heart wants next, or what our true self wants to happen next. And we're more, because we've been letting go of the fears and the beliefs, that we're more likely to take action on those things. So we hear the intuition, and then we're more likely to take action on that intuition. And because we haven't got the fear anymore, we haven't got the doubt, over time, this is the key thing. It's like the consistency of it. I was saying that I experienced the letting go within the experience I had on the retreat, but where I felt it was missing, that it didn't have the consistency. So yeah, what I always say to my clients is that just to be open to allowing yourself to feel everything, because when you let yourself feel everything, all that's left is just a good feeling. When you let yourself feel the negative, the things that we're scary of, when we let ourselves just feel those, we realize that they're not so scary after all. It's just energy and motion. And as we do, they just dissolve. And we're only left with the light and the good. That's all we're ever left with. So if there is any one message that I would share with you, it would be to let yourself feel it all. Let yourself feel it all, because you're only ever left with the good. And going back to my first experience that I could remember at 7 years old of being this joy, is that you can let yourself experience the happy, the joy, and not feel guilty about that as well. That's what you get to experience. So I don't know how long we have left, Dave. About 5. Okay. So, I mean, I'd love for you all to have an experience of that. It's a very sacred kind of thing that happens for people. It's about holding space for people individually, to hold that safe space for you just to experience it for yourself. And you know, we're talking about transformation here, and this is what really does create, it has created transformation for me anyway, and for the people that I've worked with. And so I'd love to have taken one of you up on stage here. We haven't got time, but my table over there, we have a competition that's running, so you can win a month's worth of coaching as our way of giving. There's a 3 months worth of coaching, and anyone who enters can have a free gift session of emotional acceptance themselves, for everyone who enters that as well. So, and that's something that would be done either online from, hello.
How long does it take to run through the process of working through a feeling that you?
Yeah, good question.
Right now? Is it something that we could do really quick? Because I have something I'm working on. If it only takes.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah, it would be good to get a chair up here. Let's get a chair. Okay, we've kind of got this in the way a little bit, but we'll see how this works. Okay, we've kind of got this in the way a bit.
I don't even know if this is appropriate, but let's give it a go.
Yeah. So this can vary in length of time. However, what we'll do is perhaps we'll just. So the key thing here, Kelly, is I'm going to take you into meditation if you're open to that.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
Okay, great. And so I'm just going to. I'll guide you through it.
Discuss the issue that I'm conflicted about right now, and then we'll walk through the process. Is that how we'll do it?
I'll guide you through it.
Okay.
So it's just literally just. The only thing I'd say is just allow yourself to be open to just feeling and experiencing what you're experiencing.
Okay.
And I'll just be with you here, and I'm sure all these other people are here with you as well. To
will we share the experience that I'm experiencing? Will I tell the participants about it? Is that? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll ask you kind of how you're feeling as you're going through,
Okay.
and ask you to express that.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'll guide you through it.
Okay.
So.
Let's do it.
Okay, awesome. I appreciate you for doing this.
Thank you.
Okay, so just close your eyes when you're ready, and just allow yourself just to be with your breath now.
Okay.
So really just notice the air come into your body. That's it, and notice how you feel when you breathe out. So really just be with this for the next minute or so. We'll just hold this space for you. And really just let yourself feel the air come into your body and the air leave your body. And just notice how you're feeling.
I'm feeling good.
Okay, so just keep your eyes closed.
Okay.
And keep going. So I just want you just to notice in your body what you might be feeling and where you might be feeling that. So just take your time. Just let me know what you're feeling in the body and where you're feeling it.
Well, when I'm thinking of the issue that I'm struggling with in my life right now, I feel it in my neck. I feel like tension, and I just kind of feel tense in my neck and my head. I guess eventually it ends up giving me a headache when I really get to letting my mind spiral about this particular issue.
Okay, so just keep your eyes closed.
Okay.
The reason why I say keep your eyes closed is it just takes out that extra stimulus.
Okay.
And lets you be with yourself. So, are you feeling that feeling on your neck or on your shoulder right now?
Well, I've managed to relax it a little bit, unless I think about the issue.
Okay.
And then it locks right back up.
Okay.
Of course.
So just let yourself think about the issue.
Okay.
And just let yourself feel the feeling that you're feeling in your shoulder and your neck. How strong is it on a scale of 0 to 10?
When I truly let it in, it reaches a 10 because it's
Yep.
100% fear-based.
Okay, and that's okay. So it's okay that you're feeling this right now.
Mm-hmm.
So just let yourself be with the feeling. So let go of the thought and the fear. Just allow yourself to be with what you're feeling in your shoulder.
Just allow myself to be scared, is that what you're saying?
Allow yourself just to feel where you're feeling it in the body.
In the body, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So just take your time to let yourself be with this. Okay. Where are you feeling it at the moment?
Say that again?
Where are you feeling the feeling at the moment?
I'm feeling lighter because I sort of just let myself sit with it.
Okay.
So I'm not like fighting it. I feel it's like one less thing to do, sort of. By not
Okay.
resisting it, I've got one less thing
Okay.
to worry about right now.
Okay. So as you think about the thing that you were
Mm-hmm.
thinking about before,
Yes.
just take your time to be with that. Can you feel this in your body at the moment?
If I think about the thing and then
Yeah.
I immediately feel my chest start to like I can't breathe and can't really function.
Okay, and so
on
that's
any
okay.
type of level.
That's okay. So that's okay. So just let yourself be with the feeling. It's okay to let yourself be with that feeling.
It's okay to be this petrified, is that what you're saying?
It's okay, yes.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's okay to let yourself experience this emotion. It's just energy in motion. So allow yourself just to be with the emotion that you feel in the chest.
Like nothing bad is going to happen because I'm this petrified, is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Exactly.
If you let yourself just be with this feeling that you feel in the chest right now,
Mm-hmm.
it will start to dissolve on its own. So just allow yourself to be with it, allow it to dissolve. That's good, just keep being present with it. You're doing great. Just keep being with it.
It feels like it's lifted just because I'm not fighting it.
Good, good.
Mm-hmm.
So just keep being with it if it's still there.
It's gone.
Okay.
Pretty much gone. I can talk about it,
Okay.
but my chest is lighter.
It feels lighter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. I feel like some of it is lifted there. Certainly we can
Yes,
work a
because I'm
little
not
bit further.
fighting it. It was just able to wash away a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Good. Well, thank you for volunteering to do this.
Okay. I'd like to just share very quick what it is. My son is a Marine, and as you know, all the things that are going on in the world right now, so I have a hard time some days just being able to even function and not let all that fear put me in bed. So
Okay.
thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, thank you, Kelly. That was great. So yeah, this is essentially what happens when we just are honest with ourselves. It can be quite scary to start with because we're not used to it. We're not used to letting ourselves just feel the emotion, but it is just energy emotion, and when we do, it just starts to dissolve. And you know, you're just left with the good feelings, the intuition starts to come, and you're more likely to start taking action on that intuition. So that was just a brief session. It can go a little bit more in depth than that. We're a bit short on time, so. But thank you for listening. I hope it's been useful, and thank you for welcoming me to your country.